Welcome, everyone. My name is Tooey Courtemanche. I'm the founder and CEO of Procore. I am so excited today to be here with Ben Schultz, the founder and CEO of LaborChart, now the head of Procore's workforce management product. It's so good to have you with me today.
Yeah, appreciate it. Likewise, great to be here.
Well, let's dive in. By the way, I'm so excited that we got time yesterday to catch up, last night. There's a lot I want to talk about. So listen, I'm a founder, you're a founder. I love founder stories. People ask me all the time, like, what is it, how did you get into this? So why don't you tell me a little bit of the background on you and your experience?
Yeah, so I come from a family of contractors. I'm actually a fourth generation electrical contractor. So I obviously grew up around the business. It's really all I know. It's all I've ever done. I was fortunate enough to, since the time I could drive, every summer was spent working on job sites. So I just got introduced to the industry at a very young age. So was able to do that for multiple summers. Went to college, graduated from K-State in 2004, moved into the office, and then started working on the inside of the business, learning the operations. So I did that for 12 years. Yeah, did it for 12 years, and basically started at the bottom and as an assistant project manager, and then when I stepped away as our vice president and ops manager. So literally everything that there is to do in like construction operations is what I did. So, and I did not set out to be a construction technology founder. I actually thought my path was going to be taking over the construction company.
Right.
Fortunately or unfortunately, when I was in that seat as the vice president and ops manager, it was my responsibility to deliver on the projects, bringing them in on time and on budget, and we did not have a solution, a technology to enable me to do my job. So I went out to the market and tried to find something that we would be implementing into our business to help us run it better, and we found very quickly that there was nothing, and this was back in 2013, 2014. There was nothing that did anything close to what we needed. Right. So my founder story is really looking to find something to help our business. We couldn't find it, so we had to build it. And we were actually looking at building it only to support our business. Right. We weren't looking to take a product to market. After talking to my peers in the Kansas City, in the Midwest, and in the community who were in the industry, it was very clear very quickly that it was not just our company that had that problem. So we ended up starting a company outside of our construction company, and had some decent success with it. So.
That's so cool. So from your vantage point of running operations for an electrical contracting company, there are, you know this better than anybody, there's thousands of challenges in that world. So how did you focus your energy, and why did you focus your energy on workforce planning?
It was truly just, the biggest hole in our business. We had a good ERP system. We had a good estimating system, and we felt like the missing piece was something to enable us to really manage people in a professional way. Right. Not just using spreadsheets and whiteboards and reactively trying to put out fires as it relates to resource management issues. So it really just came to what I felt was the biggest hole in our business, and which was the most our processes. It was just the most outdated thing in our business, and it was obviously affecting the bottom line. So we did it out of necessity. So
tell us a little bit about what the LaborChart product actually, the problem space it solved for. Like, what was the outcome that you were seeking for your business?
Yeah. So imagine you have a company of 100 people, mm-hmm. and you have 10 projects. That was the size of our company. That's what we were doing. How do you know who you have on your roster, what their skill sets are, what they're capable of, and then how do you know what your company's obligations or commitments are, and then how do you match those up to satisfy all those obligations? It is a constant juggling act, making sure that you know who you have, you get them on and off the jobs at the right time. There's nothing that was supporting that. It was literally a few people's heads and spreadsheets and whiteboards. So we wanted to try to make it real time and collaborative, and give people the information to update the system, update the platform, so people could make better decisions on where there are needs and who might be the best person to match it.
Isn't it amazing that how big the construction industry is? and how everything that happens on a job site is done by a specialty contractor, and that this problem had never been solved before you disrupted the high-tech whiteboard world.
It's crazy, and it's everyone knows it's the biggest risk.
Yeah.
Like it's the hardest thing to control, the largest cost, and for some reason it was the last. I feel like it was one of the last things in the industry to get digitized.
Because if you don't get the right people to the right job with the right material and equipment at the right time, you end up paying the price, right? So
That's right.
That's right. It's fundamental.
We're typically working on a fixed contract, so yes.
Well, I'll never forget. So the first I heard of LaborChart was you all were a very successful app marketplace partner, all the way back to 2020. So over the last couple of years, and then the second time I heard about you was you joined us for Culture Academy here at Procore. As a partner, which normally it's one of our customers will come and participate. For those of you who don't know, Culture Academy is a program that Procore runs where we bring in our customers and partners to help them and share best practices around building a mission, vision, and values, helping you understand how to attract and retain top talent, and basically sharing best practices across the industry. It's been very popular, and you were able to participate. Can you talk about your personal experience with Culture Academy?
Yeah, I don't know how I got the invite, but
I think Steve
Zom
Zom sought you out, but yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool timing. It was a cool experience, but also very fortunate timing as well. So our company was in the middle of a big initiative around how do we formalize and put a framework and structure around what we think our culture is and what we want it to be to scale on the go forward. So that was a big project that we were working on. It just so happened I got the invite to participate in Culture Academy right at the end of it where we were about to roll it out, our mission, vision, values. And got to go through the Culture Academy and got to see how Procore, the framework, like that's the biggest takeaway for me was that framework that you all use to simplify it and communicate it. It forced us to go back to the drawing board, and which we did, and we came back with what we thought was core to LaborChart's values, very similar framework, but what we thought was core to us, and just mirrored it and rolled out, and I would say it was a huge success.
Well, and what it led to for us was we got to know you all through the process. And what was really interesting is long before we decided to move forward with an acquisition, we had shared foundational understanding of how we look at mission, vision, and values, and how we look at people and what culture means, and culture drives business value and all of that. So when it came time for us to sit down and have the conversation around an acquisition, I felt like a lot of the concerns and risks were de-risked from our vantage point and maybe from yours because we'd shared that experience.
Yeah, it helped, no doubt. And on top of that, we also had, because of the marketplace, because of how tight this industry is, there were so many working engagements that we all had together,
right,
way ahead of those conversations. So, but the Culture Academy, it's so nice to be able to get to really see how people are and how businesses really operate and what the cultures are really like before you have to enter into negotiations or anything around an acquisition. So I do think, from my perspective and vantage point as well, it was a lot more soothing and comforting going into these types of deals.
You built an amazing business with an amazing group of people, and also I want to shout out an amazing product. Our joint customers were just absolutely just telling us all the time about how LaborChart was transformative. So here we are. We made the acquisition in November of last year. We are about almost fully integrated now. The people, all of that's been integrated. The product. Our customers are now able to use our workforce planning tool, which is made up of the product that you brought in, as well as now our big suite of workforce planning management, which includes our field productivity tool, rebranded. I'm curious now, because this has been your vision for a long time. How do you think our customers are going to benefit from this integration? Because clearly, I think 1 + 1 = 10 here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, and it's going to be phased, and this is a long answer. I'm going to try to consolidate.
Sure.
The first and the immediate one is if you think about workforce management and you have this circle, and I like to think of it, you have the first half is the planning, where you have to know your people, what they're capable of, and where they're needed. The back half of that circle is what did they actually do, because they don't always do exactly what you plan out. So being able to close off that loop and really be able to track and get your actuals on what took place That doesn't exist, or that didn't exist in the marketplace. And I think my personal opinion is that it has been a large problem with some of the timekeeping friction in the industry. Was timekeeping and time tracking was a standalone solution that was not integrated with the plan, which made it too cumbersome to have to start from square one to do all that. So now, if we have the whole plan and you just get to confirm against the plan, there's a lot of steps that are removed and a lot of friction taken out by having that full circle in one platform. So LaborChart pre-acquisition, the most requested feature was timekeeping.
And we had a timekeeper.
So now,
it worked out very well, that combination. And I think the thing to just keep pointing out is 50% or so of the costs for any specialty contractor is labor. So if you don't get that mix right, you're going to be in trouble. But if you get it right, you can do more with less, which is something that I think we both admire, and that people adopt technology to be more productive. And I think we actually help them be more productive.
It's definitely the thing that makes a company most unique and different from the competition. You're buying your material largely at the same cost. You're renting or buying your equipment largely at the same cost. Not a ton of business practices and operations that you bake around those. There are, but not to the degree that you have your people management, workforce management. So yeah, completely agree.
I do want to point out too, on the people management, the human capital management aspect of what you all built, which is my people have these skills and they're capable and qualified to do this kind of work, is it's a little known. It's not, well, we don't publicize it enough, but that is a huge benefit for any specialty contractor to know who they can deploy, because not every person is fungible for every job. So having that capability skill set matching is so critical. And it's just, again, I wonder how it really actually happens in the absence of a solution like our workforce management product.
And if you keep people's heads.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a huge benefit. So, like that roster of your people and what makes them unique. That should be factored when you're making a decision on who I send out to work on this project. It's not just a body that you need to send out there. You truly, there is a best decision if you care to get to it. A lot of times people don't have the technologies or the means to get to it, so they send a body at it. But you could send the correct or best person out there.
Well, and as a leader in a specialty contractor business or even a general contractor business, you won't know what projects you can take on if you don't know what resources you have capable to do those projects. I know it's a big headache, and it's a big aspect of what you all solve for.
It is, yeah.
So all of this kind of comes together under our workforce planning solution. You had mentioned to me that we had a big customer win last Friday. Do you want to just talk a little bit about why you got me so excited about that?
Well, and also
why you're excited about
there's been way more than just the one big one.
Oh yeah.
The how this has come out of the gates far exceeded my expectations. But in particular, this large one, drywall company, where was a great LaborChart fit, but never could quite get them on board for whatever reason.
And we've been pursuing them for a while.
Yes,
Procore.
That's right. That's right. Yep. So I think both companies for maybe year plus had been pursuing this contractor. Felt like it was a very good technical fit, a business fit, everything was there, but for some reason we could not get over the hurdle. Post-acquisition, we were able to present the full solution of how it's been integrated, as well as what we're going to be doing into the future, and they signed up. It made sense. It clicked. It, understood the vision and what we're doing. So it was a really cool story and outcome.
And I think that is just the beginning of hopefully a long line of folks that see the value of a platform and an integrated solution. And there's things like, for us, integrating time card with the budget, for instance. It's not just about workforce planning. Part of this is how do you manage your business, and the fact that all of these pieces somewhat tie together, which is really valuable. It's interesting. I keep saying specialty contractor, and I'm probably misleading the audience here. Workforce management is not just a specialty contractor solution. There's a misconception about that. Do you want to just talk a little bit about what the impact to the industry at large is going to be for what we're doing?
Yeah, workforce management is a platform for all human assets. So clearly, general contractors have human assets inside their business. So if you need to allocate people and plan against an activity, a contract, an obligation, it doesn't matter what that person is. You need to be able to plan for that. So, Yes, it's you have a higher labor cost in specialty contracting, especially if you're not a self-performing GC. So you do have a larger labor cost, but if you're a general contractor, you still have lots of human assets that are planned against the task or activity. So how do you do that? Largely spreadsheets. So being able to plan all of that into one platform is a big challenge, and is also something that we've been able to crack and solve. Is making sure that within a single platform, you are able to manage labor as well as that professional staff.
Right. I love. We were talking about the professional staff yesterday. Construction has gotten way more complicated over the last couple of decades, and the skill set required to be effective at your job is so high. These folks that are doing these jobs, they don't want to drive to an office and look at a whiteboard to see where they're going to be driving to that day. They want to leverage the best technology so they can actually have a high quality of life and not waste their time on
Well,
on those
and think
mundane
about
tasks.
the business and the companies as well. Obviously, everyone's aware of labor shortages. It's not real easy to get qualified people to come in.
Yeah.
If you happen to take on more work than you're able to handle, that is a big problem.
Yep.
Fortunately, we've had a nice little run here over the past few years of there's really not a shortage of work. So you don't have to worry about having enough work,
Right.
but there's going to be ebbs and flows in the economy and the construction economy where there's going to be times where you do need to try to make sure you maintain that quantity of people that your business is set up to operate with.
Right.
You can't get too high, you can't get too low.
It's interesting. I have a friend who's a concrete subcontractor, specialty contractor, and he talks about getting that mix right. If you have too many people that are not billable, obviously you're going to lose money. And if you take on too many projects, and you don't have the people to supply the work, you're going to have very angry customers. It's
a huge problem.
So I love, one of the reasons I love talking to you is that you changed the way the industry worked. And I just think that's hugely just impressive. But I know you have a broader vision for workforce management over the long run, and this is the area where I just get so excited because you just, the areas where you see us being able to go just transform the industry even more.
Yeah, and part of coming into the fold with Procore, a big piece of that was how much you and the leadership team wanted us to continue what we were already doing. It wasn't a drastic change to come in and now do something different. Like, it's awesome that we get to come in and now with more people and more firepower continue to try to build this bigger, better, and faster. But we talked about the circle, the planning, the tracking. There's this vision that I've always had, even from the very, very early days, of if you think of a flight board and air traffic control for airlines.
Sure.
You have your schedule, and then you have to be able to, on the spot, be able to make immediate decisions if you need to reroute for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And all the collaboration that takes place to go into that. That's what workforce management needs to be in construction. Mm-hmm. It needs to be a platform that has your daily schedule, or what people are supposed to do, and then everybody is collaborating into this one platform when there's adjustments or something doesn't go exactly according to plan to make those right decisions. Right. Then you're able to forecast off of that as well. It's one thing, and it's a beast to even manage the jobs that you have under contract. Mm-hmm. There's a whole another side of that of what are you pursuing? Mm-hmm. What happens if we hit 3 of these jobs? Can we handle them? So to be able to have a platform that can handle those jobs under contract, the jobs that you're pursuing, there's a bit of a CRM element of tracking that pipeline. What's your influx of incoming jobs? Mm-hmm. They turn into those actives and then closing them out and seeing them go all the way through. So that's the vision, is to turn it into that. Yeah. And then also, now that we're with the Procore project management as well as everything else Procore does, we now are going to be able to offer a platform for the construction operations teams that would probably take 6, 7+ point solutions to be able to handle and do all the things that we're going to be able to solve within a single login and a single platform. Yeah. So that's the grander vision, is seeing how construction operations teams, the ERPs, we know where accounting people live. Right. Let's create a place for the operations folks to live.
Yeah, it's funny. I kept thinking when you're saying that about there's that person inside of a specialty contractor or even a general contractor who, to your point earlier, knows everyone that works at the company, what they're in their head, what the skill sets and capabilities are. Somebody's trying to figure out how do you organize the crews in a way that is going to fulfill the needs of the job, which is in somebody else's head, knowing what open recs you need in order to do the future work, and it's all in someone's head. Sometimes one person, sometimes many people, and what you're talking
Worst
about.
case, best case, like a fragmented spreadsheet.
Yeah, hopefully they wrote it down.
Yeah.
But that person goes on vacation, or or the person leaves the company. What you're talking about doing is kind of creating a systematic way in order to move that out of someone's head and into a system, and then use data and predictive to ensure that you're maximizing the use of your resources. And that's the future, and I think that's what's so exciting is, I mean, we literally, when you talk about these customer wins where they're large companies that are using whiteboards, we're offering the industry the ability to go from essentially the Stone Ages into the future. We have a lot of work left to do to get there, but I think with your vision and the company that you built, you and Hunter, I should give Hunter some credit there too. The company that you have built is really accelerating our ability to do so, and that's why I'm very grateful for your vision and your partnership.
Yep, likewise. Well, on that note, let me ask one question back to you.
Sure.
I have a general idea, but I think it might be good for other folks who might be watching this to hear it and see it as well. But when Procore looked at, obviously you have looks at a lot of different construction technology companies. A lot of people like to be affiliated or would like to be a part of what we're building here. What was it about, was it workforce management, LaborChart, that caught your eye or had you want to pursue an acquisition, and then what are you most excited about on the go forward?
I love that you asked that question. Our mission is to connect everyone in construction on the global platform. I was thinking about this yesterday. I think I say that phrase 5 times a day, and I have for the last who knows how many years. But that's our mission, right? And so we would have never been able to get to the mission if we weren't focusing on managing labor, both for our general contractor customers as well as our specialty contractor customers. It's so fundamental to the business. As we said, approximately 50% of your costs are your people. If we can't help our customers solve for that challenge, then we're not going to allow them to do what they need to do to be successful. And we have a saying around Procore, which is, for 20 years we've been in business, most people thought of us as risk management. If you're running Procore in your company, it was to make sure that you had visibility into project risk and that you didn't go out of business if something didn't get documented, right? Well, now we've gotten this position where we can actually generate insights and allow our customers to run better businesses. But that's only possible if the folks are actually in the platform. And so getting the connection between the specialty contractors and general contractors and the owners is so critical in order to drive efficiencies into construction that it was a foregone conclusion that we were either going to build it or buy it. And we were very fortunate to find an amazing company with an amazing group of people, an amazing culture, and amazing technology with you all. Our customers voted you up. They said this is the clear market winner, and everything aligned. And so for us, this has just been serendipitous, and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah, likewise. It's been great from our side too. So,
look forward to spending more time with you, my friend.
Likewise.
Thank you.